An overwhelming majority of guys never do this. But for women, it's everything. Seems like a bold claim, right? But think about this for a moment. How often do you see a man who seemingly has life figured out, yet can't seem to forge a genuine, lasting bond with a woman? It has nothing to do with his wallet, his appearance, or how loud he talks. The reality is, most men are blind to a few subtle, yet incredibly potent actions that can make them magnetic. Today, I'm pulling back the curtain on 7 of these hidden keys that women deeply desire but will seldom voice. These aren't the generic dating tips you've seen rehashed 1,000 times. These are quiet psychological levers rooted in both modern science and timeless Stoic truth, designed to reshape how women see you, making you unforgettable without any desperate effort. Picture it. What if you could connect with the core desires most women aren't even consciously aware of? What if you could effortlessly distinguish yourself from the other 99% of men? Not by pleading, not by posturing, but by deeply understanding what makes a woman feel truly noticed, wanted, and emotionally safe. Here's the situation: if you're unaware of these keys, you are playing the game with a massive handicap. You are likely missing out on creating that type of deep-seated attraction that makes her think of you long after the night is over. This is exactly why you need to watch until the very end. The final key is by far the most transformative, and once you grasp it, your entire perspective on attraction will be forever altered. Before we jump in, a quick favor. If you're truly committed to integrating these paradigm-shifting methods, hit that like button, join the community by subscribing, and flick on notifications. You won't want to miss the life-altering insights we're dropping. Let's begin. Secret 1: the power of pre-intimate touch. Imagine the scene. You're on a date. The conversation is easy. She's smiling, and by all accounts, things are going great. But there's a disconnect. You can feel a gap in the connection. She's present but not fully captivated. You see her home, send that perfect text, and then radio silence. Nothing. What went wrong? Most guys put all their energy into words, believing a great chat is the ultimate prize. But for a woman, attraction is never just about the conversation. It's a physical and emotional landscape, and there is a profoundly undervalued method to build that bridge: touch. Not in an invasive or forceful manner, not in any way that puts her on edge, but in a deliberate, gentle, and profoundly resonant way. One of the most ignored gestures that women secretly yearn for is a simple, calming massage before things turn physical. Sounds basic, doesn't it? But here is its immense power. For a woman, feeling emotionally secure is as vital, if not more so, than pure physical pull. A well-timed, non-sexual touch conveys volumes more than words ever can. It communicates, I am here with you. I value your comfort. I want you to feel utterly safe and at ease with me. This isn't about becoming a professional masseuse or showing off a skill. It's about your presence, about being fully in that moment, making her feel seen, appreciated, and wanted on a soul level, not just a physical one. The secret: it's not the touch itself, but the intention fueling it. If you're just performing a task, it's hollow. But if you are truly present, attuned to her reactions, she will absolutely feel the difference. Marcus Aurelius, the legendary Stoic philosopher, famously advised, don't waste time debating what a good man is. Be one. Stop over-analyzing. Don't make it clinical. Simply exist in the moment and allow your actions to be your message. Here's the blunt truth. The vast majority of men will never grasp this principle. That's why they stay in the 99% pool, struggling with true emotional connection. But the men who get it, they forge profound, unforgettable bonds that women cherish. In an age dominated by instant fixes and superficial encounters, this intentional approach is exceptionally rare, and when you embody it, you join the 1%, the men who genuinely get what women crave on a fundamental level. Secret 2: flirting with confident respect. Most men get flirting all wrong. They push way too hard, appearing needy and desperate, or they retreat completely, paralyzed by the fear of misstepping. The reality is, women absolutely love to be flirted with, but only when it is delivered with confident ease and genuine respect. A man who can flirt without effort is a beacon of attractive energy because he fosters an excitement that is free of pressure. Flirting isn't about landing rehearsed jokes or showering her with over-the-top compliments. It's about cultivating a playful, light, and collaborative dynamic. See it as a verbal sparring match where the goal is for you both to have fun. The most effective way to achieve this is by teasing in a fun and light-hearted manner. For instance, if she shares that she has a favorite restaurant, you might respond with a slight grin. "Is that so? That's the best you can come up with. I guess you've never tried my cooking." It's a soft challenge that fuels the conversation's momentum while introducing a playful, competitive spirit. Even more crucial, effective flirting is never about seeking her validation. The second you seem like you're trying to win her over, you forfeit your power. Women are irresistibly drawn to men who are entirely at ease with themselves, men who can be playful without needing constant reassurance. This is where Stoic thought is a game changer. A high-value man doesn't flirt to get the girl. He flirts because he savors the art of the interaction itself. He stays emotionally centered, unattached to her reply. Beyond just what you say, your eye contact and posture are paramount. A steady gaze, a knowing smirk, a deliberate nod, or a well-placed moment of silence can say more than any clever line. Attraction is rarely built on words alone. It's built on presence, vibe, and an unshakable sense of self. When you flirt from this mindset, women feel it on an instinctual level. So, ask yourself, are you flirting for approval or because you find joy in the moment? Master this distinction, and you'll watch the dynamics of attraction tilt powerfully in your favor. Number 3, the power of touching her hair. The majority of men are completely unaware of this, but women adore it when a man understands how to touch their hair. When executed at the perfect time, it stands as one of those subtle, almost invisible gestures that can forge an immediate emotional link. However, if it's done poorly, it can come off as clumsy, calculated, or worse, invasive. The secret is in grasping the why behind it. The scalp is an incredibly sensitive area of the body, dense with nerve endings that can spark profound emotional reactions. A gentle, intentional touch to her hair can transmit quiet yet potent messages of intimacy, safety, and mutual attraction. It's about more than just a physical feeling, it's the unsaid message. It can say, "I truly see you, I am present with you, and I am connected to your vibe." But this is where it often goes wrong for most men. They either make the move too quickly, or they perform it like a robot, with no authentic connection driving the action. Touching her hair isn't about just idly fiddling with it. It's about forging a specific moment of genuine closeness. Imagine you're sitting together, deep in a good conversation. At precisely the right beat, you gently move a single strand of hair from her face. That one action, executed with quiet confidence, communicates more than a monologue ever could. Timing is the entire game. This isn't a move for a first meeting or before you've established any real emotional rapport. It lands best when she is already showing signs of comfort, when there is an obvious chemistry and warmth between you. If her body language invites closeness, like a slight lean in or a particular kind of smile, that's your cue the moment has arrived. The biggest mistake is to force it when she's not ready, which makes your presence and awareness absolutely vital. From a Stoic viewpoint, this relates directly to emotional intelligence and self-control. Stoicism trains us to assess situations without being driven by raw impulse, to maintain control rather than being ruled by our desires. This means you don't reach out simply because you want to. You do so because the moment is right to deepen the connection. So the next time you are with a woman and the feeling seems perfect, do not underestimate the power of a simple touch of her hair. When delivered with confidence and clear intention, it becomes one of those scarce, subtle gestures that creates a truly lasting secret. Number 4, the hand on her back in public. This can appear to be a trivial, minor action, but in truth, it communicates powerfully. A straightforward, a short touch on a woman's lower back as you lead her through a packed space or as you walk side by side says something deeply appealing: guidance, self-assurance, and protection. Despite this, 99% of men either fail to see the opportunity or they pause, crippled by indecision. Women don't require massive demonstrations of masculinity to feel secure. They respond to understated, instinctual cues that a man is centered, present, and capable of leading. When you place your hand on her back with a calm, confident energy, you are sending a clear signal that you are in command of yourself and the environment, all without uttering a word. This isn't about domination or possessiveness, but about demonstrating through a simple action that you are present, aware, and leading with quiet strength. But this is the pitfall for most men. They either wait too long, which makes the action feel stilted, or they execute it in a manner that feels unnatural and forced. This is not about claiming ownership or begging for a reaction. It is about presence. When performed correctly, the touch is light yet firm, momentary but purposeful, just enough for her to feel it and acknowledge your guiding presence in a way that feels completely smooth and natural. Imagine this: you're walking together, approaching a cafe entrance. As you move slightly ahead to get the door, your hand briefly comes to rest on her lower back, just enough to guide her path, without either of you breaking your rhythm. It's a silent display of leadership, an act that subconsciously signals to her that she is with a man who navigates the world with poise and purpose. From a Stoic lens, this is directly connected to self-governance and emotional presence. Marcus Aurelius said it best: don't waste time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. A man of quality does not need permission for his actions. He simply is a man of strength, awareness, and quiet command. When you guide her with your hand, you are not fishing for a response. You are simply being a man of presence and leadership. And that quality, on its own, is magnetic. In a world full of men who are either too shy or too aggressive, mastering this simple but profound move distinguishes you as someone who gets the delicate dance between strength and care. Fifth secret: be her rock, the protector. Let's cut through the chatter for a moment and be honest about something every man feels, but almost none of them say out loud: that primal drive to protect, to guide, to be the one she can rely on when life gets chaotic. This isn't because she is helpless, nor is it because you crave control. It's because your masculine core is engineered to shelter, not to smother, to anchor, not to chase. And here's the part that most men are missing: women deeply desire that. Not a security guard, not a tyrant, but a man whose presence silently communicates: you can let go. I've got you. Here's the unexpected part. You don't get this title through your bank account or your biceps. You earn it with your emotional fortitude. You see, most guys think that being her hero means swooping in with a fix, solving all her problems, telling her the right way to feel, or treating her bad day like a flat tire. But that is the opposite of what she wants. What she truly craves is a man who can remain steadfast while she comes undone. A man who doesn't get rattled when she's emotional, who doesn't try to dismiss her feelings, minimize her experience, or make her turmoil about him. She needs to know you can hold her storm without losing your own peace. Because when a woman is emotionally flooded, be it mentally, spiritually, or hormonally, she's not searching for a mechanic. She is searching for an anchor who won't be moved by the waves, someone who doesn't look for an escape route, someone who doesn't get reactive, someone who just stays, but stays centered. That is what makes you her protector. It isn't loud, it isn't flashy, it isn't the stuff of movie romance. It is steady, quiet, and immovable. The more she experiences that from you, the more she can relax into her feminine energy, because she's no longer forced to carry the emotional weight. She can finally exhale because she knows you can handle her, especially when she's not the easiest to be around. Now, let's be specific. Being her protector means letting her feel her feelings without you needing to fix them, listening with your entire presence, not just your ears, and maintaining your composure when she's pushing your boundaries, not as a punishment, but to demonstrate that her chaos won't shatter your frame. Your calm is the ultimate signal. Here is the secret: you become her protector before a crisis ever happens. This means you don't just react to instability, you preempt it with your energy. You dictate the emotional atmosphere of the space you're in. You move with a sense of purpose. You speak with quiet authority, and you don't have to say, "I've got this," because your entire bearing screams it. But I need to be crystal clear. This is not about becoming her emotional doormat. Being a protector never means you put up with disrespect, volatility, or manipulation. It means you protect your own tranquility first, because a man incapable of guarding his own emotional state can never truly guard hers. This is precisely why Stoic wisdom is so crucial in relationships. As Seneca wrote, "No man ever became wise by chance." You don't just fall into this position, you consciously choose it, you build it, you become it. Not for her, not to prove a point, but because it is who you are, who you've decided to be, and who you must be to lead. Not chase, to protect, not perform. And here's the powerful paradox. When you fully step into that protector energy, her entire perception of you changes. She becomes softer, she opens up, she yields. Not because you rescued her, but because you proved she never had to rescue you. So, if you are tired of trying to purchase affection through over-giving, if you are done being an emotional sponge just to keep her from leaving, if you're truly ready to lead with a grounded masculine presence, type this in the comments below. IPRTSGMYCAM, because the man she truly craves, the one she respects at a nervous system level, is never the loudest one. He's the one who holds firm when it matters most, the one who listens without fixing, who can hold emotional space without flinching, and who guides without losing his own way. That is the man she will trust. That is the man she gives her full self to. That's the protector, not of her person, but of her feeling of safety in your presence. Sixth secret, the signal of a beard. Alright, let's touch on something that seems superficial on the surface, but is actually tied to something far more elemental: the beard. For some, it's just hair on your face. For others, it's a style choice. But for her, when you wear it correctly, it can activate an attraction that feels almost primal. Look, I'm not suggesting that all women universally prefer beards. Preferences vary. Some love a clean shaven look, others like stubble, and some go for the full woodsman aesthetic. But no matter the individual taste, there's an undeniable reason beards have historically been a symbol of something elemental, something masculine, something quietly potent. And women pick up on this, even if they can't put it into words. That's because a beard doesn't just alter how you look, it alters how you are perceived. And in attraction, perception is the whole game. A well-maintained beard communicates maturity. It implies a certain depth of experience. It adds an edge. It says to her, without you speaking, this man has moved beyond his boyish phase. He's not seeking approval, he simply is. And that is energy. That is stoic, that is masculine. That is the type of presence that says more than any words. Let's go deeper. Psychologically, facial hair often represents dominance and substance. Not the loud, aggressive kind of dominance, but the quiet type. The kind that enters a room and has no need to announce its arrival. It communicates through stillness, through composure, through the fine details. And when a woman encounters a man with that sort of presence, especially if he carries a beard with intention and self-respect, it resonates with something ancient within her. She perceives safety, but also a hint of danger. She senses a man who is not easily influenced by the opinions of others, someone who walks his own path. But let me be perfectly clear, this has nothing to do with just letting a beard grow wild. A beard, when used as a tool, isn't just a style, it's a reflection of your personal discipline. It shows, I maintain myself, I care about the details, I am invested in how I present myself. Because a messy, untamed beard doesn't project power, it projects neglect. But a clean, shaped, intentional beard projects, I am certain of who I am, and I'm unapologetic about it. Now, for the subtle part that no one ever discusses. When a woman glides her fingers along your jawline, through the texture of your beard, she's not just feeling the hair, she's connecting with something more profound. It is physical contact, but it's also a study in contrast. Your masculine roughness against her feminine softness, her skin against your edge. It's a complete sensory experience, and it communicates on a nonverbal level. This is what most men fail to grasp. A beard doesn't just alter your face, it builds polarity. And polarity is the engine of chemistry. Not being the same, not total comfort, but the friction of difference, masculine and feminine. Stillness and flow, strength and surrender. The beard, when united with the right internal energy, becomes a powerful amplifier for that polarity, making her feel even more feminine simply by being in your vicinity. But once more, it's never just about the beard itself, it's about the man wearing it. Because if your internal state is weak, if you have no boundaries, if you chase, justify, or overextend, no amount of facial hair is going to change her perception of you. But if you carry yourself like a man, silent when it's called for, economical with your attention, rooted in your mission, then the beard is no longer just a look. It becomes an emblem of the man you are, and that is where its real power is found. Let's connect this to the Stoics. Epictetus taught, first, know who you are. Then, adorn yourself accordingly. You do not grow a beard to hide a weak chin or insecurity. You grow it as a physical manifestation of your identity. It doesn't grant you strength. It showcases the strength that's already there. So whether you rock a clean shave or a full beard, do it with clear purpose. Don't chase trends or copy someone else's style. Lead with your presence first, and let your appearance be an extension of that. And if this message hit home today, if you now grasp that masculinity isn't just an internal feeling, but is also seen, drop this in the comments. I know you are mwiskernjich, because the man who is sure of himself doesn't just have a beard. He wears it as a signal, a quiet communication to her that he is a man with nothing to prove. He simply is. Seventh secret, the force of shared laughter. Let me pose a question to you, my friend. When is the last time you truly made a woman laugh? And I don't mean a polite chuckle. Not that, oh, you're funny, that she says after a joke you rehearsed. I mean that authentic, genuine, totally unshielded laughter. The kind that makes her lean back and let go of everything for just a moment. The kind that makes her instinctively touch your arm. The kind that makes her defenses melt away without you saying a word. Here's the key that most men miss. Laughter is not just about having fun. It is profoundly intimate. It is the great disarmer. It bypasses all of her mental defenses. It vaults over logic and connects directly with her nervous system. Want the real psychology behind this? When a woman genuinely laughs with you, her brain floods with oxytocin, the bonding hormone, the exact same one released during close touch, intimacy, and acts of trust. And in an instant, you are no longer just some guy she's having a conversation with. You are the man she feels safe with, the man who feels like coming home. Now, most guys will never leverage this. Why? They're too busy trying to be impressive, to say the perfect line, to maintain a front of being strong, stoic, and mysterious. All of those things have their utility. But if that's your only gear, she might feel respect, but she won't feel attraction. She will see you as collected, but ultimately forgettable. Laughter is the thing that makes you stick in her mind. It is the secret ingredient, the relief between moments of tension, the deep breath where she realizes, this man just makes my world feel better. But what's crucial here is that this isn't about becoming a stand-up comic. It's not about desperate attempts to entertain. It's about recognizing the right moment to ease into the present, to tease her playfully, to allow her to tease you in return, to not take yourself with such deadly seriousness. That is what forges a kind of chemistry so potent, it doesn't need physical touch to feel like electricity. Let me paint you a scene. You are out with her. The atmosphere is calm, the energy is relaxed. You observe something, a tiny detail no one else would notice, and you make a perfectly timed dry remark. Her mouth curls into a smile. She tries to suppress it, but fails, and suddenly you are both lost in laughter. That moment, right there, is infinitely more powerful than the slickest pickup line, because it wasn't pre-packaged. It belonged to the two of you, shared, organic, and real. The beautiful thing is, she will replay that moment later. Not your words, but the feeling. She won't remember the joke you told. She will remember how incredibly light she felt in your presence. And in a world that often feels overwhelmingly heavy to her, that feeling is completely addictive. Now, here's what most men believe that is completely wrong. They think that showing laughter is a sign of weakness, that if they aren't completely serious, they lose her respect. That is 100% backwards. The man who can be light without sacrificing his depth is a rare thing. He is compelling. He is irresistible because he doesn't feel the need to be on all the time to feel powerful. He understands that laughter does not diminish his masculinity. It expands it. It proves that he isn't intimidated by the moment, that he has mastery over his own energy, that even from a place of stillness, he can spark joy. Let's bring this back to Stoicism. Marcus Aurelius noted, "The art of living is more like wrestling than dancing." But he also wisely observed, "If you are pained by any external thing, it is not this thing that disturbs you, but your own judgment about it." Simply put, your power to recontextualize your life, to transmute tension into ease. That is true power. And laughter is that alchemical shift. It's how you guide her emotional state back to a place of joy. How you show her that masculine energy doesn't have to be perpetually heavy. That strength can smile, and that stillness can create a spark. So, if you've been shouldering the burden of always being the serious one, if you've lost touch with what it feels like to just be in the moment with a woman without trying to control it, without a script, it is time to rediscover that. Not to impress her, but to reconnect with that part of yourself first. Because the man who laughs with her, not at her, not for her, but with her, builds something far more durable than attraction. He builds an emotional landmark. And if that is the man you are stepping into becoming, drop this in the comments below. I lady luit lady htns. Because the man who makes her smile is the man she will want to be close to, not just when things are thrilling, but especially when they are difficult. Because laughter, my friend, is never just a sound, it's a signal. And when that signal is shared, it creates a bond that she can't explain, but will never, ever forget. 8th secret, the gravity of a dream. Let's move beyond attraction for a second. Beyond the touch, the banter, and the chemistry. Let's talk about the one thing women desire, but seldom know how to articulate: a man with a vision. I'm not talking about just having a job, or a short-term goal, or a plan for the weekend. I am talking about direction, a deep sense of purpose. A man who is not merely getting by, but is actively creating something. Because this is the truth that most men miss. Nothing pulls a woman closer than a man who is unapologetically moving towards something bigger than his own comfort. This has zero to do with money. It has nothing to do with recognition. It isn't even about the specific dream itself. It is about what that dream signals about you as a man. It signals that you are vibrant. It signals that you are not passive. It signals that you wake up with a mission. And that kind of energy is intoxicating. Do you want to know what a woman truly finds compelling? It is the man who can look her straight in the eyes and say, "I can't hang out for too long. I have to get back to my work." And she knows he's not bluffing. Not because he is trying to push her away, but because his mission is so important that he refuses to get lost in her. That is the true secret. You don't capture her heart by making her the center of your world. You capture it by making your path the center of yours, and allowing her to witness the conviction in your eyes when you speak about it. And this is the reason it works. Because when a woman senses your forward momentum, when she sees you are relentlessly pursuing something tangible, that you refuse to sit back and wait for life to happen to you, she can't help but respect you. She